Good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Karen Kong, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And welcome to my This or That Thursday. So every week I try to post 2 cards in my Facebook group, and I ask my creative community to vote on a card for me to make on Thursday morning. So this morning we are making this card, and I'm going to show you how to make these cute little Christmas trees. I learned 2 techniques to make Christmas trees, and I thought they were really fun. Good morning, Maureen. How are you? Yes, so I'm sorry I'm running a little bit behind this morning. I was busy doing my civic duty. There was a street lamp that I noticed in my neighborhood near the bus stop where my daughter waits. Is cracked like 2/3 of the way up. There's like cracks all around the pole, so I thought I should report that. So I went and took pictures and set that up. So it took me a few extra minutes to get set up this morning. Good morning, Tara, Sandra, and Shannon. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Just give me a second, and I'm going to just set up my machine, my computer, so that I can see your comments while I'm crafting. Let's see. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I minimized it by accident. Okay, I think I'm good. All right, good. All right, so I'm ready to get started. I'm going to turn my camera around, so just close your eyes for a few seconds while I do that. There we go. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. So, just getting everything ready this morning. And so anyways, I found these Christmas cards, these Christmas trees, folding techniques on Instagram. And I found 2 different ones. So this week, I'll do this one. And let me show you the other one. Next week, I'll do the other one because they're both really fun and easy to make. So this one's a much bigger tree because it's made from like 6 circles, and this is only half a circle each. So it lies, well, you know what? They're both kind of thicker because I put dimensionals inside of these to make them pop up. So, and I use the Wintry 3D in the background. I think I've used that embossing folder a lot this year, so totally worth that investment in that embossing folder. Okay, strange. I'm just looking at the color on my computer screen. It looks whiter than usual, which is really strange. I don't know what's up with Facebook, but anyways. All right, so it's a fairly simple design. I use the Deckled Rectangles to make the layers and the embossing folder, and then I just needed circles. So these are cut from circles, and I will show you how to do that. So let me cut my card bases and my mats, and then we'll do the Christmas trees, okay? Let me just make some room on my table, just a second. So first things first, we need the white card base. And it's just a regular 8.5 11 by 11 sheet of paper, and I cut it in half. Let me get my paper trimmer. Okay, so let's cut this in half. So this paper trimmer is Stampin' Up's paper trimmer, and all the measurements are right here. So I need to cut it at the halfway mark, and I can measure it right there on the trimmer. Use my scoring blade to trim it, and then I'm going to turn it and score it at 4 1/4 with my scoring blade, so then I can get a nice crisp fold. All right, so that's my card base, and I'm going to need my my cut and emboss machine to cut these mats, okay? Yes, Maureen, they were really fun to do these, and really easy. I saw them, I watch a lot of reels on Instagram And these were really easy to make. So let's see. I have the dies pulled out already. Just a second. Okay, so the smaller one is the white, and then I will emboss it afterwards. Oh, Murphy's Law again. I only get phone calls on my phone when I'm doing a live. Literally. Otherwise, I never get phone calls. And I forgot to put the Do Not Disturb on today. Last week I did, and I got no phone calls. Or maybe I did, but I don't think I did. But this week I forgot, so of course I got a phone call. Okay. So, oh, let me turn this so I don't get that terrible snapping sound. Okay. Sorry, I have a few things in the way here. There's never enough room on the crafting table for everything. Okay, there we go. So there's one deckled rectangle. And I will cut the larger one now. Oh, Shannon asked if the dies are in the annual catalog. So these deckled rectangles, yes, they came out in the annual. And I picked them up immediately, but I had not really used them a lot until, well, I haven't actually used them a lot, period, but I keep meaning to, and I feel like they're one of those staple kind of tools, like just like the stitched rectangles and the layering circles. I like all of those because then you can do so much with, you know, with them for all kinds of projects. So I did pick them up right away when I saw them. Okay, so those are my rectangles. So I've got my card base, my two mats. I need to emboss the white, so let's do that. Where's my embossing folder? First of all, I need to get the right pieces because this is a 3D embossing folder. I only need plates 1 and 4. See it over here. So it's not going to be quite, oh, I think actually it'll fit exactly. That's great. Okay, so let's put this through. I need plate 4. Okay, so let's emboss that. So pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to cut the circles. So the circles can be any size you want, really. It just depends on how big you want your final tree to come out. So the ones that I made for the card, let me just find the circle. I used, I think this is the second largest layering circle. Sorry, is that the right name? Yeah, layering circle. Let me just measure that. It's the about 2 3/4 inch. Anyways, yeah, so if you're watching for the first time, don't worry, I always put the measurements in my description, my video description, after the live is done. So you don't have to write anything down, you can just watch and enjoy, and all the measurements will be provided later. So I used the Lights Aglow DSP. This is my favorite for Christmas. It's really beautiful. And I hate to cover up any of the gold, but you know, both sides are so beautiful. And this way you can see a little bit of the backside as well. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 in red, and then 2 in a green DSP. Okay, so, but actually, you know what? Each circle makes 2 trees because you only need half of the circle to do this. Okay, so for the I haven't cut this one yet, so it's just going to trim it off screen because I don't want to move my cut and emboss machine. I'm just going to double check that this fits. Yes. Is everybody done making their Christmas cards at this point? I think I've been making Christmas cards since July, and I have no idea if I have enough yet because I haven't stopped to count. But I have to start writing up my Christmas cards and getting them addressed and everything, so that has to start soon. Okay, there's one. And here's the second one. So the original layout that inspired me was by Tammy Wilson. She does beautiful work. She does a lot of watercolors. So it was a similar kind of layout that she used. With the Whimsical Trees, I think it was, Whimsical Christmas Trees. But she used watercolored paper and like a slightly different layout, but the same sort of idea, and that's where I got my inspiration from. I think that's it. Oh no, wait, I have one more thing to die cut, and that is the tiny little stars at the top of my tree. And I use the gold, I think it's the Glimmer paper. I have been like cutting pieces out of it, and I've been saving it because I don't have a lot of the gold left, so I'm saving scraps. And look, it's perfect for tiny little things like this. So I should be able to get my 3 Christmas stars out of this tiny little piece here. Wow, you got yours all in the mail too last night? Man, Sandra, you're good. Yeah, it's such a load off. Tara says not quite. I need to do my paper pumpkin kit. Wow. Tara, you did so many cards already. I can't imagine that you're not done yet. Okay, here we go. So there, look, 3 little perfect stars. That's why I don't throw out these scraps for the gold Glimmer paper, because like you never know. Because I know that the Christmas stuff, like I have so many tiny little things, like there are little gold ornaments that I could cut too from that particular set. This is a retired set, by the way. That was from last year's Christmas catalog. But I still use it. Like I love all the die cuts in it. That one's particularly tiny. Okay, so I think that is it for die cutting and everything. So let me get this out of the way. All right. So 50 to 60, holy smokes, Tara, that's a lot of cards. Okay, I don't want to lose these. I'm going to put them in my little dish up here. Okay. All right. So to do the Christmas trees, which is what I know all of you are waiting for, you're like, get the matting and the other boring stuff out of the way. Hurry up. Okay. So I'm going to cut these in half. I actually only needed one of these. I forgot. So let me just double check the measurements. This is 2 3/4 or about 7 centimeters across. So I'm going to cut it in half at 3.5 centimeters. I think that'll be easier to measure. So, because this has inches and centimeters on it, on the trimmer. Sorry, my paper just moved. I'm just going to fix that because, oops, and I just pulled this out of the thing. It's fine, nothing's broken. Okay, so get that out of the way. So it was, I said 3.5 centimeters, I believe. So I'm just going to line it up there. and cut it in half. Okay, and I'll do the same thing with the red. 3.5 centimeters. All right, so now that they're cut in half, I can show you how to fold them. So you're gonna need your bone folder because it will make it lie flatter if you burnish the folds really well, okay? So depending on, let's see, I can't remember which side is out. If I fold it this way, okay, so I think this side up, because I want the sparkly side out, okay? So I'm going to take it and fold it about 2/3 of the way up. Okay, fold it in half. And then I'm going to fold that piece back to line up with the edge. There. I'm going to move it over just a teeny bit. There we go. Okay, and then I'll turn it over and I will fold this back to line up with the other edge on the back side. And that is your little Christmas tree. So easy, right? Super easy to do that. And then I'm just going to grab some dimensionals. I'll use the little ones and put some dimensionals underneath. Can't remember. Oh, I did put some behind here. I knew there was 3. And then one last one here. So I just recommend that you don't put it like right in the tip because it makes it too hard to fold and it doesn't lie flat. So keep it near the bottom. Yeah, it's super easy, Maureen. It's really easy and they're so cute, aren't they? Super easy. Whoops, I didn't take the backing off this one. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Super easy. Okay, so I'm going to do that for the other 2 as well. So the side that I want facing outward is the one that's going to start with it up. Fold it 2/3 of the way up. Fold it back. And the same on this back side. There. So I found I was like, I made some of them a little bit, like I folded really closer, like more like 3/4 of the way than 2/3. And when you're talking this small of a circle, it makes a difference. But then if I folded too far up, you wouldn't see as much of the backs showing through the tree. So just a word of caution that if you fold it too far up, you won't get as much of the reverse side showing, which I think it looks good with. So I was careful when I made my other trees that I did not go so far up the paper. Okay, so I just need to stick some dimensionals in here. I'm trying not to stick the dimensionals like in the exact same place on top of each other so I don't get them to be too, like the height to be too high. I need this one. I'm glad you like it, Maureen. Yeah, I like the, it's pretty simple to make. It really wasn't, this one was an easier card to make, and I like clean and simple too, so it's definitely my type of card. There we go, that's 3 trees done right there. All right, so let's get to the assembly. Whoops. Okay, so my card base. And where did my layers go? What did I do with them? Oh, here they are. Okay. I will use glue. I'm finding that I like glue more and more, just for the same reasons that Tara mentioned a while ago, is that you have a little bit of time to play with positioning once you put it down. Because sometimes I realize that it's just a little bit on an angle or a little bit too close to one edge and it's not evenly spaced or centered. Okay. And with this Deckled Rectangle edge, it's not straight, so it's a little harder to tell, you know, if it's level, but then if it's not, I guess it's a little bit more forgiving too. There we go. And I'm going to put on the embossed layer now. Yeah, I'm finding I'm using glue more often than the tape more recently, and I just realized I don't have a new bottle and I haven't ordered any, so that's going to have to be in my next order. Whoops. There we go. All right. And then we can place our trees. I haven't done my stamping yet, but this card is pretty much all just cutting, embossing, and a little bit of folding. All right. Put it there. I want to leave enough room for my sentiment at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to glue those on. Maybe I should start with the center one. I'll work out. Oh, good to know, Tara. Hopefully, I think I have about maybe a third of a bottle left, and hopefully that will last me until my next order. Okay. So... I think I'm making this card in record time for me. Like, normally I'm fiddling with things for so long. But it's really easy when you have the right inspiration, isn't it? Like, it's almost like a, you know, with the sketch challenges, I always find that my team members like sketch challenges because it's easy to, I guess it gives you a starting point to work with, and you just go from there. And I use Tammy Wilson's card as my guide, as my inspiration, and I just went from there. There. Now where did my, oh yes, I put my little stars over here. So on my other card, I found, like, the tip is kind of the lowest point on the card, and I wanted to pop it up more, but these stars are just way too tiny. Even if I cut the dimensionals, it's kind of too difficult to stick them on, so I just stuck to glue for this one. Oh yes, envelopes. We need those. Yeah, I hope I have enough. Okay, there's my little star. Luckily, I have a few different sizes of stars. one from this set, and I think I have stars in other stamp sets and die sets, so because I realized the first star I had picked was too big. It just didn't fit right on the tree, so I found these tiny little ones in my Whimsical Tree set. Okay. Oops, I just stuck it to myself. There we go. Definitely need tweezers for this job. All right, there we go. So all that's left to do, actually I want to move that down a tiny bit. Give it a little bit more to stick to. And let it dry and it should be fine. There we go. All right. Yeah, there's lots of sets that have like stars. I'd forgotten that the snowman set had stars in it too, but I think this size works well for this tree. I think it's fine. Okay, and my sentiment comes from the Whimsical Trees as well. Oh, I don't know if you noticed, so I also copied Tammy Wilson's idea of making it a flagged banner like this, so it gives it a little bit more dimension. So I'll show you how to do that. It's very subtle. So let me get out a strip of paper, all those little strips of paper I've been cutting off. See, I have a whole pile of these little strips. Look at this, right? You cut off like a half an inch or a quarter of an inch or whatever. I have lots of these, so I've been saving them in this little container. I'm just going to take out a longer one. I forget how much I need. Oh, this one's probably long enough. Okay. All right, so let me just quickly measure how long of a piece I need. But I needed to also trim it down. Like this is slightly wider than I want it to be, so I will trim it down in terms of the width. So this piece behind it, whoops, I like inches, is about, let's say 2 3/4. More than 2 3/4, almost 3. Okay, so let me trim that, and then almost 2 1/4. So yeah, I think I have enough. You know what? First, I'm gonna stamp so that I have that sentiment on there first, and then I can cut to the sentiment. Okay, let me just get out my sentiment stamp, and let's line this up on my Stamparatus. I'm always very careful to use the grid lines to help me position my paper, because it has happened more than once where I accidentally move it after I position the stamp for it, so then I know where to line it up again. Okay, so I know that the image is not quite centered on the back. Sorry, it doesn't line up. I messed up the sticker here, so don't let that fool you as to where the sentiment is. Okay, so I'm going to use my grid lines in the back here to figure out if it's straight, and it's not quite straight, so I'm just going to reposition it without moving it, like actually moving it from the spot that I want it to stamp in. Hard to tell. This one's not perfectly straight. It's not a perfectly straight sentiment, so it's a little bit harder eyeballing it. Okay, so this one I did in Evening Evergreen. So let's hope that's in the middle of the, not too bad. Yeah. I'm going to stamp it twice to make it darker. That's good. I like that. All right. Yeah, the Whimsical Trees, Shannon, I keep pulling it out. I like using the trees from that set. The trees, and I didn't use the ornaments quite so much, and the stamped trees. I liked the dies better, actually. I'm just trying to find my chamois to clean my stamp. Okay, so let's bring this back now. All right, I actually managed to stamp it right in the middle. It's almost unfortunate because I wanted to trim some off. I didn't want it to be quite so thick. I don't know how to describe it. I want it to be a narrower banner. Let's see if I can trim off. Yeah, I really did stamp it right in the middle. I'm gonna have to take off a tiny bit from each side. This is, yes, I know, it's OCD, I think. But I do like how it looks when it's slightly narrower, so I'm gonna take a chance and trim it. Now I'm gonna trim the whole thing because I want the strip behind it to also match in width. And that's the awesome thing about this paper trimmer, is that it will trim really skinny pieces of paper and it will hold it in place. I'm going to trim that much. And I'm trying to make sure that it's going to be straight to the piece that I can tell because I'm lining it up. It's like, oops, they moved it. I'm trying to line it up with this line here on the trimmer. Okay, I think that's good. All right, I'm just going to press down with my bone folder because I can see that the edges are lifted and I want it to lie flat. Okay. Now I'm going to trim it down to size. So I'm just going to trim it right to almost the edge of that one. I'll trim off a little bit on the other side as well. Okay. I don't think that's the same. I can see that it's slightly wider on the right, so I'm going to trim it again. That's what is, you know what, I can use scissors for this last little bit because that one's a really slight trim. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so just gonna smooth down all the edges. Okay, and this one, let's just see if it's the right width, because I'm going to position it behind. It's actually a little wider than I need it, so I think I will trim it down. I'm just going to eyeball this. Okay. Actually, I can see there's a slight fold on that side, so I'm going to trim off that end instead. Okay, and now I'm going to flag them. So if you've never done that, it's really easy. I just make a slight cut here in the middle, and then I cut on an angle to the middle where the top of my first cut was made. It didn't fall out. I guess I didn't quite meet it, but it probably will fall out the next one. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on this side. There we go. Okay. So it looks like kind of like a ribbon a ribboned banner instead of just a plain banner when you assemble it, right? So I'm going to use dimensionals for that. So I will glue this one down in the middle. Oops. And we'll make it like just here. Okay. Thank goodness for glue, because I can see that's slightly on an angle. I think that's good. And then I will use the dimensionals to pop up the sentiment. There we go. And there's the card. So the only thing left is I did die cut one more deckled rectangle for the inside, and I stamped something else, the other sentiment from the Whimsical Trees set in here, and I will do that next if you want me to, but that is the easiest part of all. So yeah, so it was really, I mean, I think this is one of the fastest cards I've made in a while. Pretty easy to do, even for me as I fuss over lining things up. But the trees, I mean, like, they're just so easy to make and super cute. And you could make it the focal point of your card if you want to really go clean and simple. Just see if this one fits. You're welcome, Maureen. I usually don't do the inside of the card. I kind of like, I don't know about you, but does anybody else kind of lose steam when they've finished the front of the card? I always lose steam, and then the inside of the card, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not as interested in like finishing it, but really it should be finished, and I need to do a better job of that. But yeah, I kind of lose steam when it comes to the inside of the card. I'm always like, when I'm done the outside, it's satisfying, but not the inside so much. But, you know, I do have some insides that I'm really happy with, and I'm glad I finished them, so I need to work on adding that as well. I could probably add, like, a tree stamp or something to the inside, too. Oh, yeah, see? Yes, Sandra, same. Like, you know, when I make the cards live, or I try things out, I forget sometimes to do the insides, and then I go to open them, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing inside. Oops. Yeah, so then you have to go back and, like, finish them, right? So I'm just going to finish this one. At the very least, put in a sentiment. Maybe I'll put in a tree this time, too. My washi tape broke off of my big piece of magnet there. I have to replace it so I can lift it easier. So, okay, is there a tree that I could put in? Maybe I'll just put, oops, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the little one here. Maybe I'll just put this in the corner in green as well. And then I'll stamp both of them at the same time. All right. So again, I'm just going to check. See, I can see this one is not straight. So I'm going to fix it before I stamp it. Yeah, I think that looks straight. Okay, so now I'm ready to stamp. Okay, I'm going to stamp them both again to get them a little bit darker, and that is why I love using my Stamparatus instead of a block. I'm going to press a little bit harder and see if I can get those block letters to fill in a little bit more. I think that's probably good. All right. Let me just clean off the stamps. And we'll glue it inside here. I think this is a new record for me. And not only did I finish the card outside, I also finished the inside of the card in under an hour, and I think I started late too. Amazing. I think this is going to have to be my mass production card maybe. Went much faster than I thought. But we'll see. I have to count up. I have to see if I have enough cards and see if I even need to make more Christmas cards yet. Have not even counted, not even tried. So there's the card today, ladies. Very, very clean and simple and easy to make. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for keeping me company and for chatting with me. And I look forward to seeing you next week when we make the next card, and I'll show you how to make the other Christmas tree. Have a great day, ladies. Bye.